Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that break. Hope you were able to enjoy the OST, get some food, get some snacks, and get ready for the semifinals because they have begun. Welcome, everyone, to the StarCraft Evolution League number 4. And again, we're about to crown a new champion. Oh, we're getting there. We're here in the semifinals, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, the SC2 Protoss, representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. Rocking the Brood War Protoss race. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's time to get your gamma going. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Again, if this was SC2 versus SC2, if this was just a standard StarCraft 2 game and standard StarCraft 2 series, I would favor Classic. 100% I would be behind Classic here. But this is not StarCraft 2, this is StarCraft Evolution, this is a mod, this is a hybrid here between StarCraft 2 and Brood War, and I'm curious how Classic can handle the Brood War race. Very curious. As Classic's going for a gate expand, a probe scout across the map, especially against HonMonO. HonMonO double gas opener, double gas into faster factory. Now, if you're familiar with HonMonO, you would know HonMonO, he is an animal, he is an absolute, just ape in this matchup. It's a lot of fun to watch. He is a very aggressive Terran player in TVP. We have seen time and time again HonMonO embraces 1 base all in, 2 base all in, 2 base all in again. He like HonMonO, he does not stop. He doesn't know how to calm things down, so he's hyper aggressive in every single TVP match that we see. And I'm curious if Classic can keep up. Can he keep up here? But now it is going to be the initial Dragoon on the way. HonMonO moving out with his Reaper, trying to get a read on what's going on. Factory is in production. HonMonO is not going to be a 1 base all in. HonMonO, he will be expanding on the low ground, but we'll see where this or what this leads into. See if this leads into HonMonO's classic 2 base all in, where he does opt to pull the boys. Meanwhile, HonMonO, he dips in. He does confirm that, of course, Dragoon production is underway, and Dragoon range is also in production as well for Classic. HonMonO is aware as additional Dragoon production is underway. HonMonO with the second Reaper is looking for proxies, making sure that nothing weird is going on. Classic doesn't catch him off guard. So HonMonO is on the hunt, trying to make sure that Classic is kept honest. At the same time, because of the positioning here, HonMonO, he is out of position. The Dragoon does hit the natural and will delay the CC. Nice pickup. Gets an SCV. Waddles into the main. Gets a full scout as well. Confirms the 1-1-1. That is a faster starport here by HonMonO. SCV started down as 2 SCV kills and a full scout. Not bad for 1 Dragoon. Not bad at all. Behind this, HonMonO getting to a 3-1-1 setup, but this is a starport before the 2nd and 3rd rack, so this is more tech heavy. This allows for faster medevac production as well. This doesn't really scream 2 base all in, to me at least. Usually if it was, we would either delay or just skip the starport entirely. So HonMonO has more sustain. Meanwhile, across the map, we have a wall of 4 Dragoons. Shield battery is done, and Classic does hold. Now, as opposed to SC2, there is no overcharge. It's just a straight up shield battery here for Classic. We'll be able to hold on to the natural for the time being. Likewise, no way into the main. Robo is on the way, and this can lead into shuttle production. I imagine it will be shuttles into potentially shuttle drops. Likewise, HonMonO also getting to really early tank production. And speaking of shuttle, there it is. Shuttle is on the way. Likewise, observatory as well. You do require the observatory to morph in and warp in observers for detection. And there's the bay as well. The bay for shuttle speed and for Reaver production. So we're looking at the beginning of Reaver drop. If you're curious, Reavers are somewhat comparable to Disruptors in a sense. I think they're I mean, what they're similar in is just that they're robo-based units. They require a bay and they do splash damage. Outside of that, though, they are quite different. The Reaver is far slower, very slow, very immobile. Also, it has to produce the scarabs, one after the other, kind of like a carrier. Speaking of, Reaver is on the way. So it takes a while for the Reaver to really build up, to actually bank up those scarabs to have some kind of sustain in a longer fight. On the flip side, though, scarabs do lock on. Unlike a Purification Nova that you can avoid, that you can dodge up. We're the boys! Of course we are! I mentioned before, HonMonO, he is known for 2-base all-ins, and I assumed that he was going to be macroing. How dare I make that assumption? No. HonMonO and macro, never bad. Hon macro is a myth. He's HonMonO, but he's moving out. The boys have arrived so far. Good kiting here at a Classic. He does slow down the push. Does force earlier sieges. Ideally, HonMonO, he wants to get on top of the base, on top of the Nexus. He's taking time. He is taking time. The tanks are slowly leapfrogging forward. Classic warping in additional reinforcements. The first Reaver has arrived. And it's coming in for a flank. It's going for the Bio. Scarab Shots goes off. Oh my god, massive connection! The Bio army does crumble. The Concave in favor of Classic. He's going for the tanks. And can he clean them up? He's at 5 Dragoons. Ooh, the Dragoons, they cannot hold their own. The tanks, they hold the line. But alas, what is HonMonO really threatening here? He's threatening a Pylon. Pylon goes down. Classic, he has time to rebuild, but he did lose the Reaver. Classic, he doesn't really have much of an army, not yet. He needs time. He needs time for reinforcement for another wave of Dragoons. The base is under fire. And HonMonO, he will knock down the third. And Banshees have arrived to reinforce. Another Reaver's on the way. More boys have arrived. Let's go. The all-in continues. HonMonO just muling his heart out. The second Reaver has made it. Is waddling in. Trying to sneak up on the army. There's one Scarab Shot available. Oh! Shot goes off on the tank. Ooh, not on the Bio. Uh-oh. Classic's in trouble. Classic. Oh! Much better connection. Connects with the Bio. Another shot going off as well. Ooh, and again, the Reaver does fall. So do the Banshees. One Banshee survives. Zealot goes down, and HonMonO still maintains his position. Now, what is terrifying? HonMonO, he's getting on top of the Robo. The Robo is under fire. Classic coming in from behind, at least trying to. Just have 4 Zealots. Zealot speed finishing up as well. And getting on top of reinforcements. Nice control here at a Classic. Catches out 4 Marines. But the Robo has fallen. This is the only Reaver left. Yeah, massive tank shots going up. Targeting down the Dragoons. A couple of tanks are going down though. The Zealots are trading well. But there's still 1 tank left. 1 tank. Is it going to survive? Oh, it barely does. Oh, wait, barely does. The tank lives. But alas, 1 more shot away from going down. Dragoon, he wants it. He wants a tank. He's dropping in. Hey, Classic with the micro. He wants that tank. Reinforcements have arrived. The tank is going to be able to survive a little bit longer. Gets a couple of shots off. Oh, does take down the Zealot. The other tank goes down though. HonMonO does overextend, and he's forced back in. Classic, he defends. He survives just barely. It's a very close hold. But Classic does survive. Gets a 3rd base, rebuilding the Robo. Classic has held. HonMonO behind this. Again, he wasn't really set up for a longer game. He has no E-base. He has no upgrades. No stim, no combat shields, no +1, no 3rd TC. Like, we were so all in with this build. And HonMonO, he's forced back. Now, what I will say is, even though HonMonO, he backed off, he's going to pull the boys again. Yeah, I was about to say that. Wait, if you think at any moment that HonMonO is going to macro, that's when he gets you. That's when he gets you, Bobby. If Classic, if he does macro up too hard, if he techs too hard, then he can be caught out. As HonMonO, he pulls the boys for a 3rd time. 3rd time's a charm. Ooh, 1 Banshee goes down. The boys have arrived, catching up some of these Dragoons. Zealots are across the map. They're getting a lot of damage done. SCVs are going down. Another Banshee falls. But the tanks, they're making their way over. They're trying to get onto the natural. Storm is not done. Archons are on the way. We do catch a couple of Pylons. Meanwhile, it's going to be 15 SCV kills across the map. And the Archons, they can tank some shots. The Archons, they can hold their own. Especially with the shield battery, Cybercore goes down, but remember, Zealot's speed is done. You can see Classic getting ready for a surround. Archons from behind, catching reinforcements. And Marines are going down. Brutal losses here for HonMonO. Losses he cannot afford. We'll get an Archon. Does get one. Almost another. Bearing in mind as well that the shuttle doesn't have pickup range like the War Prism, so you have to be on top of the unit to pick it up, like the old War Prism at least. So one of the Archons does fall. And here we go, Classic. He almost pulls the trigger. He's waiting for it. That one Reaver banking up those Scarabs. 2 shots, now 3. 3 shots are available. And the Reaver does load up on the shuttle. And HonMonO, he has to pre-spread those Marines. As Classic is trying to catch reinforcements. HonMonO depowering some gateways in the main, getting some damage done, but the longer this goes on, the better it is for Classic. HonMonO, he doesn't know. He doesn't know about the third! He doesn't know! Again, Classic, he has so much saturation, so much economy, which is why he's building up such a terrifying army, and HonMonO, he has no idea. Banshees do make their way into the main. Damage is being done. Not bad. Getting 5 probe kills, 6 probes. That's damage, yes, but Classic still has a solid economy behind this. Still has 3 bases. This is not enough. And if HonMonO thinks he's containing his opponent, then he would be in actually a decent position. But he's not. And he still doesn't know. Otherwise, he could, you know, attempt to lay siege here instead. Boys being pulled to repair. Classic once again trying to catch reinforcements. Ooh. Getting Marine. Classic getting ready for a 4th Nexus. No shot. Classic now with a terrifying army size. The soup is not lying. Not this time. The soup is not lying. And eventually Classic will be able to break out. Now he still has to push into this tank line with 4 bunkers, but he's going for it. Does pull the trigger, comes in from behind. Zealous, they collapse on everything, and yeah, HonMonO, he just cannot hold his own. Not anymore. The bunkers go down, the tanks go down. And Classic, he will shut down this main army, and he can keep pushing from here. Can keep going, does bleed out a couple of Archons. But remember, this bio army doesn't even have stim. They're vanilla Marines. They're so vanilla. Ah. This Classic does rally across the map. He will bleed out some reinforcements. The Banshees are popping off with their cloak. Not bad. But Zealous, they get across the map, and there's really not much to stop them. Oof. Yeah, the Reaver going for the mineral line as well. Oh my god. Looks like the Reaver's trying to lock onto the gas mining SCVs. They keep breaking the lock on. It's a little bit awkward. Likewise, Banshees across the map. Hey, they're trading well. Picking up Dragoons, picking up High Templar. But there's nothing else left. Everything else is on fire. The bases of HonMonO are flashing red. Oh, the mules for the repairs. Mules, they do get dropped in. Oh my god, HonMonO. He's trying to make this work, but again, HonMonO, has he seen this? He still doesn't know. He still doesn't know about the 3rd or the 4th. Again, he thinks this is closer than it is. Like, given his limited information, if Classic was on 2 bases, then sure, this is understandable. Going into the main. Buildings are floating back. GG gets called, and Classic, he will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played, Classic. He will survive the all-in. Again, it was quite a terrifying all-in as well. HonMonO, he definitely had his moments. He almost broke Classic, especially when it came to the first move out, when he was pushing towards the natural, when he had caught out the Reaver, when he was gaining ground. There were definitely some good moments here for HonMonO, but HonMonO, he did not scout that Classic was expanding. He did not scout the third, so he had no, because of that, he applied no pressure there. He didn't deny any of the mining, he didn't deny any of the economy. So because of that, even though HonMonO was containing, or at least it looked like he was containing his opponent on 2 bases, really Classic, he had a perfectly solid economy behind it. He was able to build up, able to snowball out of control eventually, and break out. GG. GG, well played. Classic does take it in the end, and we'll see if HonMonO can bounce back and force an ace match. We shall see. As we're getting ready for game number 2, we're going to be loading into Polopoid. That is the 4-player map. Here we go. We are getting into that second game. And this time it is Classic's turn to play his main race, SC2 Protoss. It's going to be HonMonO's turn to switch it up and play some Brood War Terran. Oh boy. The turns have tabled. And now I'm that much more concerned for HonMonO. I feel like that game 1 was his game to take. I feel like that was his moment to shine. Alas, didn't quite work out in the end. And oh boy, now we get to see Classic's final form. We can see him here at full strength, but before that, we're going to be introducing our Terran player spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Polopoid. We have our South Korean Brood War Terran player down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean SC2 Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds, leading the series 1-0. One amass, one more to advance onto the finals. It is Classic. Here we go. Now, as a reminder, this map is a 4-player spawn map, so either player could have spawned in and loaded in any location, which is why we can see HonMonO moving out, and we're going for 2 gases back at home, racks as well. Are we going for a proxy in the center of the map? It looks like we are. Or are we waiting for the probe? The probe has arrived, SCV does confirm, and with that, HonMonO is now aware of the base location. So really nice movement there out of HonMonO. Does get eyes on the probe, and likewise Classic is not fully aware of what's going on, but he's aware that something is wrong. He's looking for a proxy. I mean, HonMonO has a reputation, and it is going to be the proxy factory. Oh boy. Do we proxy tank? Are we that crazy? Let's go. As Classic is still trying to figure out where exactly HonMonO is, he's checking bottom right. Alas, Classic will will guess incorrectly. So Classic is still in the dark. It could be an economic opener, or it could be an all-in. Classic doesn't know. He does not know what's going on. Factory is now done. And we're just going Vulture. Okay. So no tech lab and no tanks is going to be proxy Vulture for HonMonO. And here comes the second factory, mass Vulture. Now, I believe Vultures, they two-shot probes, if I'm not mistaken. But Classic, he will scout, he will check, he will confirm. He does get eyes on both factories. He's aware of what's going on. He does spot the Vultures. And you can see there, they do 2 shots. So 2 Vultures will one-shot workers. And they can be quite threatening. Classic behind this, cornering out his first Stalker. Probes are under fire. Stalker is going to be able to keep up. That's going to be 2 probes going down. The Vulture's quite fragile. It will go down. 3 probe kills so far. It's an okay start, but HonMonO, he needs more than that. Does need more as Classic is expanding, getting into a second Stalker. And doesn't take too many hits here to bring down a Vulture. The second Vulture has arrived. Sending back the Stalker. Shield batteries on the way for Classic. And HonMonO, he's going to be bleeding out these Vultures. It's not going to be worth it. Oh, bleeding out 2 Vultures for nothing. 2 Vultures go down, and Classic is shutting down this cheese. I mean, one of the Stalkers is low, that is true. But we have more Stalkers on the way. HonMonO pulling back. He's trying to build up those Vultures. Up to 3. 3 soon to be 5. Going to be trading 1 for 1. 2 for 1 even, not worth it. 2 more Vultures fall. HonMonO getting a third factory back at home. Again, he's just going mass vulture, but he's bleeding out too much. Yeah, brutal losses. As Classic is camping the production. Meanwhile, HonMonO, he gets supply blocked. Now is not the time. A brutal supply block. Depots are on the way. Supply block is broken. And Classic behind this did follow it up, not with the second gateway, but with a Robo. Robo into Immortal, that will be a secure way to shut down really any kind of mech-based army. Immortals are ideal. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Classic. Shield battery is done. Overcharge is going to be available. There's a sentry for a force field. In saying that, HonMonO has actually built up quite a considerable amount of vultures. It's going to be how many? 8 vultures in total. They could potentially try and dive into a mineral line. Potentially, but that's where the sentries come into play with their force fields. So HonMonO, he can try to make this work. It's not going to be easy, though. Oh, it's the point. Let's go. As the boys are being pulled. Yeah, the boys are soon to arrive. And he's coming for the surround. He's at least trying to, but the Prism has arrived, and Classic can just micro back. He can't save his units. The overcharge is fault. The boys are being pulled as well for Classic. Yeah, the shield battery overcharge putting in a lot of work. Does keep that Immortal alive. The Immortal is immortal. It doesn't go down. Tanks so many shots. And yeah, HonMonO, he knows. Yeah, he knows at this point. Dancing the Vultures, alas, as he will lose everything, and there's no way to break the natural base. The SCVs are fallen. GG gets called, and a Classic will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Classic will advance on to the grand finals. My condolences to HonMonO. Again, he put up a fight, especially game 1. Game 1 was close. You know, game 2 was more one-sided, but I don't want to take away from what happened in game 1. It was a very clutch hold out of Classic. Game 2, as soon as Classic was able to get a read on what was happening, he was so quick to just camp the production, to, you know, not afraid to break out and to really take the fight to those vultures, and was able to stifle the vulture production early on. HonMonO just losing too many vultures too quickly, and it took him a little bit too long to build up that kind of mass amount of vultures to kind of break the expansion. GG. GG, well played, very well done here by Classic. He will advance on, and the question becomes, who will be his opponent? Up next, we have the upper semifinals. It's going to be a PvZ between Rebellion and Rumia. Yeah, let's go.